Welcome to the Snohomish Storytellers. Here in our little corner of the universe in Snohomish, we have a strong sense of community and heritage founded in the whispers of yesterday's stories and the narrative of what is being written today. Snohomish Storytellers captures this through organic conversation between Snohomies, former, present, and future.
This podcast is brought to you by the historic Downtown Snohomish Association. Our mission is to promote, preserve, and improve the Downtown Historic District as the heart and soul of the city of Snohomish. My name is Megan Hetherington, Executive Director of HDSA, and my lovely co-host is
Sheila DeVerter, board member of HDSA. And with us today is also our podcast producer and vice president of HDSA, Trent DeVerter.
And welcome to our podcast.
Megan.
Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning. Or good afternoon, good evening, wherever our audience is listening to us from.
It's morning for us.
Yeah.
So, and it's not super early, but early for you.
Yeah, I've been turning into a late bird in this season of
a late
employment.
Bird instead of a night owl.
No, I'm just Did you see that meme that's like, I'm not an early bird, I'm not a night owl, I'm a perpetually tired or like something in the middle of the day bird. And I was like, I that's me. Like,
I'm like, I've always been a night owl. My mind comes like very active at night.
Really?
So I get a lot done. But I wake up early and I feel better if I get up early.
Right.
So as long as I'm feeling okay, I stay up. And if I'm tired, I go to bed. But I have like no schedule. It's weird. It's just whatever the energy brings that day determines.
I, for some reason, would peg you as a early bird, as a morning person.
No, you should ask Rich some stories about, especially early in our marriage.
Yeah. I think that's always like, opposites attract.
Yeah.
Like most couples probably, if you're an early bird, you married with a night owl.
Mm-hmm.
With Trent and I feel like that's exactly it. Like coming out of college, I was definitely a night owl. Mm-hmm. Like I would stay up late doing homework, whatever.
Yeah.
And Trent is such an early bird. Like he wakes up like singing. He wakes up like he jumps out of bed.
That is not the type of morning person I am. I mean, I get up in the morning and I feel better if I get up versus if I sleep in.
Yeah.
And I will talk to people that I have to talk to, but I'm definitely not like, good morning, it's a new day.
I am definitely that same way.
I need a little time,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mean to you, but I'm not going to be like super bubbly and engaging either.
But it's good to always be aware of, what your energy level is and adjust the activities to, if you can, to honor your energy level.
I would bet that Lori is a morning person.
I could see her
and
as
that
being
she
a
wakes
morning
up
person.
ready for the day.
She's going to text us and be like, no,
nope,
I'm actually
you're wrong.
a night owl. We're wrong.
She just seems energetic all the time.
Yeah. She has that energy, that presence to her. So we are talking about our guest for today's episode, Lorry Green.
Yes.
Who is the owner, founder, president,
boss babe,
all around, boss lady of the Elle Marie hair studios.
Yeah.
That we have around the Snohomish County and King County area.
Yeah. That one King County location.
Right.
Right. Because that's Woodinville that we talked about. That's like, we still kind of count you guys as Snohomish County because you're right there.
But I'm sure everyone recognizes the name. I know even before knowing her, when I'm just around town, I would see the name everywhere. And I learned from her website that the name of the company, Elle Marie, is Elle, like from Lorry. Elle, that she spelled out to E-L-L-E, and Marie's her middle name.
Yeah,
so,
I like that kind of play on language. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of also resonates with the feminine, side of things too, which she's all about empowering the other women, and it's cool.
Because for the longest time, I honestly thought that Elle Marie was owned by a person named Elle. Yeah.
Or at least named Marie.
Yeah,
I guess she is.
Like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun talking to her. She has great energy and she definitely brings the fun into everything.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about the Roper Romp.
Yeah.
So her other name, she's known as Helen, with the other 500 Helens that were roaming around downtown Snohomish. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, just keep listening. You'll understand.
Yeah. And it's really fun learning how she grew the business from her working as a hairstylist for someone else to making the jump with her mom to open her own salon. And now the fact that she has 5 locations and just being a very recognizable person, business in the area, and her focus on the development of her people. I think I never would have guessed that from like the hairstyling industry. I guess I never put, professional development to the level that she's doing it for her people with like hairstyling. Actually, my family has a lot of hairstylists in like my extended family. And, it's always the story of like, oh, you go through school and then you rent a chair at, whatever salon has openings and you kind of just grind it out yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's been really nice to hear that, she's very intentional with how she runs her business and how she works with her family, her people.
Right. And it's obviously paying off. Like that investment into people is, creating more and more opportunities for her business. So the cycle feeds itself. Right. It's cool.
The circle of life.
The circle of hairstyling. Yeah. Well, it was a great interview and I really enjoyed just her perspective on community and, how she feels like, what is it that I'm offering? What am I bringing to the table? And I think it really all intertwined into her success as a business person, but just also how she's respected in the community and that she keeps showing up in all these different ways. And we're grateful to have someone like that. Yeah. So many great people like that in the community.
I know. And I'm so glad that we have this platform to kind of highlight them, to share their story, share what they've been doing. And that, you don't always have to be like us on the HDSA board to make a difference, to be able to do something. And we love to partner with anyone who wants to come in and bring things into the community that they think would be great, would be good, that we need. So
highlight and inspire and then connect.
Right.
So that we can all keep doing the work together.
I feel like that should be the podcast slogan now.
Ooh, what did I just say? I've already forgotten it.
I have no idea.
We'll have to go back and listen.
Good thing this is recorded.
That's right. All right. Well, everybody, please enjoy
Lorry Green. Yay. Megan.
Sheila, you beat me to it.
I beat you. I knew what you were trying to do. I saw it in your eyes. Welcome back to Snohomish Storytellers. It is a very windy fall day outside.
It's so blustery out there. I was getting pushed over on my walk down here.
Right. And I'm so glad that we're in this cozy like basement recording studio with our warm drinks. This is like peak fall vibes.
Did you know we have the same drink now?
Do we?
Mm-hmm.
We're just blending into the same person.
I mean, I have to get decaf most of the time. But if I'm going to just have what I want, it's the London Fog.
Yeah. Or the Americano with a splash of cream.
Well, see, that's why, because decaf. Nobody has drip decaf because, it's Washington, Seattle area.
Yeah,
who drinks
we love
decaf?
Our coffee.
Just me, apparently. But I will get the London Fog and risk the caffeine because I like it so much.
Yeah, and it's so nice and cozy. And we're joined here by none other than Lorry Green.
Hi, Lorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you here.
Yeah. And Lorry, if for those of you that don't know, is like the powerhouse behind Elle Marie Hair Studios, right?
Yes, I guess you could say that.
She's like, am I?
Own it. You do actually own it, though, right?
I do actually own it. Yes, I own it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how many salons do you have? You have the one in Snohomish on Avenue D.
I do, yes.
But you have several.
I do. I opened my first salon in August of 2006 in Mill Creek. And 4 years later, opened one in Lake Stevens. 2 years after that, Alderwood. 2 years after that, Woodinville.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't know you had one down there.
And then I relocate. And then, we'll circle back. So that's 4. And then the 5th one is we just opened a year ago in Smoky Point in Arlington.
Wow.
Yeah, which I love. But in the mix of all of that, I did relocate our Lake Stevens salon, which was our second location, to downtown Snohomish. So that one's been here, I want to say 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been
a total of 5. And I'll keep going as long as the industry will have us and the communities will support us. And we'll see.
Awesome.
I don't know. I'm just kind of like, where are we going with this? I don't know.
That's amazing. I could barely manage one household and it's just me, the husband, and the dog. And I don't know how you can manage like 5 hair salons.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Thank you. I'm pretty fortunate. I've got a whole team behind me that helps me. Listen, I cannot manage my own household. I'm much better at the salons, but I do have a team, a management team in each location. I've got a business partner as well. I've got marketing. I've got a lot of support that we've been able to organically grow throughout the years.
Yeah.
Which has helped to help support the growth of that. So
that's awesome. That takes a lot of intention though. Like I heard you say that it's organically grown, but like that takes leadership. How is sort of the evolution for you of having your one studio to growing to the point where I'm reflecting on my own behaviors. I can be a control freak, right? And it's like you want quality and you want it to be run well. What was that like for you?
Yeah, about that. So
the body language that you can't see on a podcast.
Well, I guess to start, I'll say it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So I would say the past year, I've really, really taken a step back and reflected how I got to the point of burnout. And it was a grind. It was a grind. And, I graduated high school and found myself as a single mother. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? I have to feed this kid. I have to grow up somehow. What am I going to do? I can't deliver pizzas the rest of my life. And nobody ever really talked to me about college in high school, and so I didn't really have a whole lot of direction. So I decided what I wanted to do was what I loved, which was doing hair. And so I went to beauty school and to kind of appease my mom who had different dreams and goals for her child.
Yeah.
I told her that I was going to do hair for 5 years behind the chair before I figured out what else I wanted to do in this industry. And about 4.5 years in, I was looking for a new opportunity. I had worked for a corporate salon in a mall. And then for about 6 months, I worked for a little tiny like mom and pop shop. There were 3 stylists. And what I really lacked was income. A good
paycheck.
Yeah. But not just that, but like direction with like a career path. And so when I was trying to find something to where I could actually figure out how to make money doing what I loved, I decided that I needed a career path. I needed to find a space where I could not only have a career path, make a lucrative living, but how can I be at the dinner table at 6 p.m. at night? How can I be at soccer practice on Saturdays?
Right.
In an industry where people were predominantly coming in and paying for service on evenings and weekends,
right.
That didn't work for what I wanted in life. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but this is kind of my story.
Go on the tangent.
And so about 4.5 years in, my mother, her name's Colleen. She had been, I didn't plan on talking about my mom, but I'm just going to do it because it's all about family for me. But she had gotten laid off from her corporate job and she was looking for something fun. Like, she's like, why don't we open a coffee shop or whatever? I'd gone to a conference that day and it was like our Sunday family dinner. And I said, well, and I was super inspired at this conference. So at this dinner, I was like, why don't we open a hair salon?
Yeah.
And I was totally joking, but totally serious. I'm like, if she takes me serious, I'm totally serious.
Testing the waters of it.
Well, she took me serious. And so she calls me the next day and she's like, let's look into it. And she said, why do you want to open a hair salon? And I talked to her about the career. I talked to her about, I need to elevate this industry somehow. I need to be able to, have a space where we can make a lucrative living. We can have a career path in an industry and a profession that sometimes is looked, kind of frowned upon, and a lot of creatives now, it's not frowned upon anymore. Now it's like, how can we do this?
Right.
How can we elevate these traits that we have to where we can make money? Anyway, so long story short, we opened a hair salon, my mom and I together. She brought her business background. She had a lot of background in HR, facilities management, all the things that I did not have. She was also a certified life coach. So she taught me how to coach our people.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. And so I aligned myself with brand new salon networking group that was nationwide. Went to training, created this whole career path where hairstylists can come in and make a good living doing what they love.
Yeah.
And it just really catapulted not only my career as a hairstylist, but so many other people.
Yeah.
So no intentions of opening more than just that one spot for me to work.
Yeah.
But then my previous boss had called me, the one at that little tiny mom and pop shop. She called me and she's like, clearly you know what you're doing. Will you just take this? Like, take this off of my hands. So I was like, well, shoot. All right. Okay. And I was 29 when I opened my first hair salon, and I didn't think beyond just that first initial need, which was to have a career that I could grow in. I didn't even know what growth meant.
Right.
I just knew I needed to make good money. And I knew that other hairstylists probably did too. And so, so we just kept going from there. But what happened was, back to your original question, is how do I manage that? How do I do it? It turned into a lot of grinding, a lot of late nights, a lot of long, long days in an industry that predominantly didn't have a whole lot of, business resources. They, a lot of education as far as like how to cut a straight line, what color cancels out red, all those types of things, but not a lot of great business development resources. We had to kind of wing it.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that, but we did.
Yeah.
And now it's totally different. The industry's evolved. There's a lot of great opportunities out there for hairstylists beyond working at an employee-based salon company like my own. And so I love being able to provide those opportunities for hairstylists.
Yeah.
But I had to take a step back and remember my why and remember what I love to do, which is not totally running a business. It's connecting with people, being involved in my communities. It's having fun, things like that. So hopefully that answered your question in the longest way.
It's great.
Totally
there are so many more little nuggets in there too, because I love that you partnered with your mom, because it's like you say, maybe running a business is not your passion, right? Not actually the business management part of it, but coming from the experience of somebody who realized as the practitioner, this could be better. You have so much more insight as to how to develop a healthy business because it benefits you as essentially the employee, right? Quote, air quotes there, the employee, the person who was at the receiving end of what it's like to work in an industry like that. And I think when it's that perspective that's taking leadership to build something that is ultimately good for those people. It's like you said, you had no intention of growing it past that one, but something caught fire because it's like everybody else who identified that there was holes in the industry too, where they needed more leadership and development. You were providing that. So it kind of naturally got very popular. And I think that's really cool.
It definitely, it's hard because I know that I founded this company with my mom. By the way, mom is now retired.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
Colleen.
But that happened right. She was just starting the whole succession, just implementing all of that right before COVID hit. And so at that point I was like, what the hell? Like, no, this is not gonna, like,
you
no,
can't do this
I don't
right
know what
now.
I'm doing. And then she really kind of did me a service by taking a step back and allowing me to kind of spread my wings and not, and so that was when I was like, okay, there are some things that not only now do I need to pivot because of COVID,
right,
but our industry was rapidly evolving and changing that we had to do the same thing. So, so she's outliving her retirement life. And now I brought in my very best friend who's my business partner now. And then we did a big reorganization and all this. And so business is great. But I think the thing that for me is hard is I know that I'm the owner, I'm the founder. Sometimes, people say you're the heart of the company, but I don't know that I necessarily feel that way. I think our community is, and it's not, when I say community, I don't mean like the communities, not just the communities we have our salons in. Not just, Snohomish, not just Woodinville, not just, but the community in our own four walls. Our community of hairstylists that I get to be a part of and watch their successes and watch them lead. And knowing that I was a hairstylist for so long and I lived that life, I know how hard it is to build those connections, not only to do beautiful hair, that's the icing on the cake.
Right.
You know what I mean? The real work comes in the personal. How do you build those connections? How do you authentically get those guests to want to come back and sit in your chair again?
Right.
How do you get on the same page as them on what their needs and desires are for their look? Because it's not about the hair. It's really not.
Dude, it's basically therapy, right? Hairstylists and manicurists and a lot of these other bartenders too, they're basically therapists. Like one of my most favorite parts of getting my hair done, getting a haircut, whatever, is the time that I spend bonding with my hairstylist. And I think that still goes back to you because you're, the founder and you have that culture that enable the hairstylist to be themselves or to come out in a certain way and present themselves in a certain way and create that atmosphere that makes it comfortable, not just for them, but also for the customers. So as much as you don't want to take credit for the leadership, I think a lot of it is, to the culture that you foster inside your four walls.
Thank you.
Well, and that's so important. I think essentially what we're talking about is professional development, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
there's
opportunities.
so many, there's so many industries where it's kind of like an afterthought. Like, well, why would we want to do professional development here? They're just an employee, and I think that attitude in and of itself is just so destructive to the overall health of your company. And like, I worked at Harbor Square Athletic Club in Edmonds. And one thing I really appreciated about that place was that essentially, could other people do the job that most of us had there? Sure. In some ways it's kind of boilerplate, right? Like, you learn the industry, but it's really like you're delivering customer service. It could translate into so many different things. But one thing they did really well there was professional development for everybody. And then for those of us who were in leadership, that trickled down to even just my front desk staff that were like in high school or in college. Like, we had professional development in place for them. And I think that just made them feel more valued and like they wanted to come to work there, and that they're learning something that they're going to be able to take to the next place that they go. Or maybe you keep them within the industry and, oh my gosh, maybe even within your company.
Right.
So it's like promoting retention,
and professional development is so important. But what's even more important to me is personal development.
Right.
Yeah.
99% of the people that come to work at Elle Marie are right out of beauty school. They're coming in, they're starting at the desk while they're in school. They're getting that knowledge. They're getting kind of engrossed in the culture at Elle Marie. And then they transition into our advanced training program where, it's 4 to 6 months, sometimes 9 months long, where they're partnering with a senior level hairstylist. And then that transitions, they graduate from that, they go right into a stylist position. Those people who go through that professionally, financially, they're making way more money than a stylist who's coming right out of beauty school, going right on the floor. But we're also doing monthly one-on-ones where we sit and we coach and we mentor them personally and professionally. Thanks, Mom, for that. But I think that's so important because, you can come in and do the thing that's going to make the money and all that. But until it really, you understand your why and how it feeds your soul to continue to doing the thing, you're just working.
Right.
It's just a job, and I don't want people to come to work for a job.
Right. I love that. I didn't realize just how extensive, like all the inner workings, like the different levels that you were describing, that's what they go through. Like, I feel like that's more training than other industries that probably need more than
that. I mean, there's a hair salon on every corner, right? Yeah. And so it's not like that everywhere.
Right.
And so I do feel a strong sense of responsibility, not only to our communities so that, people can come into a hair salon and know that they're going to have consistent results, but to our industry to be able to provide these opportunities. Otherwise, and I hate saying kids, but they're very young. They usually go to beauty school right out of high school.
High school,
but they're going to come out of school, go and try to, make a business doing hair with no guidance at all. And they're going to fall flat.
Yeah.
And that's very detrimental to our industry.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that the hair world has created for me.
Yeah.
I miss doing hair. I'm not going to lie. I stopped about 10 years in when I was being pulled a million directions and something had to give.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it that I want to be able to continue to provide these opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
And whether or not they stay with my company for the long haul or just for, a couple years or whatever it is, I'm just super grateful and proud to be a part of their journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that though. The fact that you're not just like, oh, I'm putting in this investment for my own people to stay within my company. But the fact that you have that broader view of like, these people are, whether they stay within Elle Marie or not, they're going to be better for the industry.
Yeah.
And I think we need more of that type of thinking in the world, because it's not just about the one company making a ton of money, although, some people would love that. It's like, if you can make the whole industry and all of the trickle effects of, bettering one industry, I'm sure adjacent industries to the hair or beauty industry probably felt, ripple effects of that. So it's like, I wish more people had that type of thinking that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a multiplier. You're a multiplier.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh.
That's so cool. Snohomish Storytellers podcast is brought to you by Elle Marie Hair Studios.
So I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, as I always do these days, and not TikTok because I'm not hip enough for that.
Oh, you're officially an Instagrammer now.
Yeah, just Instagram. But I got to the corner of, the reels where it was like a bunch of hair and makeup tutorials typed, which is funny because I don't actually do a lot of hair or makeup myself on a day-to-day basis, but I'm always so intrigued at the techniques.
I know, it's impressive.
Right? Like that these people, even like kids, there's a lot of like younger like people that are just like, you take the bun and you slip the thing in and you do this and you do that and ta-da, you have an updo. And I was like, growing up, I know how to put my hair in pigtails, in a ponytail, and a braid.
Yep.
That is the extent of my knowledge base. And I think that's why it's really important that when you go to a hairstylist, that they're not only quote unquote trendy, but they're actually keeping up with all of these techniques, because it seems like everyone learn new things and you want to make sure that you're getting the top service with the most up-to-date techniques. And I think that's why we love Elle Marie Hair Studios, because they've prioritized ongoing education for all of their professional stylists to make sure that they're not just learning something once when they went through school the first time around.
Yeah.
But that they're maintaining their proficiency in all the trends, all the hair techniques that we have coming up.
Yeah, because you want to, like, if you're getting, your hair done and you're trying to like stay with the times fashion wise, it's important that you're going to somebody who is going to deliver on that and not something that was even on trend like 2 or 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Like you want current. So the next time that you need a hair service done, whether it's a routine, haircut, or color, something special like a smoothing treatment, a perm, or extensions, or upstyles for special occasions and even weddings, you're definitely going to get the best and most up-to-date service at any of the 5 Elle Marie locations. And if you mention HDSA, you'll actually enjoy a special offer of $10 off of a haircut or $20 off of a color, for a total of $30 in savings, which is super awesome.
Who doesn't love saving money?
I mean, I do. So now is a great time to call up Elle Marie. Make sure you go in and get yourself taken care of. You're going to look great.
For more information and to book your next appointment, you can go to elmariehairstudio.com. That's ELLEMARIE hairstudio.com.
Your personal social media accounts are pretty fun to follow. I enjoy those. And today you shared that you were just nominated for or receiving. I don't remember that part.
For the Business Ladies of Society?
Yeah. So BLOS, which is run by Jessica Chavez, is a networking group in Snohomish County that's primarily, it's only for women, business ladies of society. And she grew that from just Snohomish to, she had to call it society in general because so many people were joining.
Which worked out really well with the whole acronym, the BLOS thing.
Right? I know.
We love our essays.
She went from Snohomish to Snohomish County to society.
Well, tell me more about that. I don't want to get it wrong. There's an award. It's the BOSS. What is it called? The BOSS?
The BLOS. So BLOS stands for Business Ladies of Society. BOSS.
BLOS
Award.
Wow.
So the Business Ladies of Society, her whole thing was she started this whole networking group during COVID. As she was a business owner, she had a small business herself, wanted to bring women together and just connect and make connections and build that community. And so I came on, I want to say 6 months later or whatever, I went to my first event that happened to be at a winery. And that was why I went. Because I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I like wine.
We love our wine.
I like wine.
Yeah. And also it was up in Arlington. So I was like, okay. And I think I might open a salon up here. So I might as well get to know the community.
Yeah.
And it was then that I really felt the connection of that the women had together. So I was like, I want to be a part of this. But the BLOS Boss, I guess, is people nominated a whole bunch of people for this award. This is the first time she's doing it.
Yeah.
I don't really fully know that I understand the criteria behind it. I mean, I'm assuming it has something to do with empowering women, in business. And that is what I love
what you're
doing.
All about.
Yeah.
I just happen to do it in the hair world, but also I have a very large network of women that I associate myself with intentionally in the business world, but we also have a lot to talk about. I love talking shop with any industry, industry professional. So,
that's
I guess
cool.
I was nominated.
Yay,
so,
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
awesome. We'll see where that goes.
Fingers crossed you win.
Oh, thank you. There's so many amazing women in this group and so many others that have been nominated that I'm happy as is. Like, this is cool.
I love seeing that, like, when, people feed off of each other and like being surrounded by the people who understand that same level of rigor or that energy that you bring. It doesn't matter that you guys are running completely different businesses, but just that mentality and being surrounded by that energy. And it seems like they've fostered that really well in that group. So
well, it's that passion. We're all passionate about what we do. Mm-hmm. The difference in this group, as opposed to, because there's a lot of women's networking groups out there. And the difference with this one is you have all different types of businesses. So you've got your brick and mortars, you've got the multi-level marketing leaders, there's all different types of businesses. There's online, but this is the most northern one that I'm aware of, and so there's ones in Seattle, East Side. And they're all amazing. But what I like about this one is the acceptance of all different types of businesses. So it's really cool in that aspect. Yeah. Also, I live here, so that's cool too.
Yeah,
it's growing and it's very intentional, but also organic. You can tell. You can tell.
I appreciate that she brings the fun too. Like,
there's a lot
I went to
of fun.
the conference. That was the only event that I've gone to, but it was an immersion.
It was. I think that was her first conference. And that was I was actually out of town for that, so I didn't get to make it. But the one thing I do want to say really quick, some of the things that she brings in to us today, right before I got here, we had the elite group, the VIPs, I don't know what, the golden elite, the names have changed a couple times. But we just had a meeting and we talked about, we had a coach on there. She was all about self-love and all about this. And it was an hour of just so much. At the end, I felt like I had gone on this roller coaster of emotions of like almost like dread, thinking about what scares us. But then it's like, no, you got to lean into that fear. You have to be like, okay, what is this fear trying to tell me? It's like yin yang in business, So there's things like that. We talk a lot about like burnout, things like that. And I haven't gone, you don't have to go to, there's a lot of events that you can choose to go to or not go to. And so there's really, truly something for everybody.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. I love that she's heading that up. And then I love the camaraderie between women. Now, I can't speak to men because I'm not a man and I haven't gone to any like all men networking groups or anything like that. But I will say, I feel in general, when women get in each other's corner, the impact is so powerful. And I will dare to say, anybody can challenge me if they want, but I will dare to say, I think it's more powerful and more effective than when men do the same. And it's just from what I've been able to observe. So this could be wrong. Again, it's my opinion, everybody. It's just my opinion. But there can be competitiveness among either group. Like that's always going to be there, I think. But I think there's just like such a desire to forward women in general because we are, in society just a little bit below still. And
or
unfortunately,
a lot below sometimes.
That it's like the passion to forward us as a group together is just that much stronger. And I think that's why we see that it's a little bit more effective versus men maybe can just be a little bit more competitive with one another, or it's not about advancing the group because it's not needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a necessity. So it's not as important or as prioritized. Whereas for women, sometimes these communities are the only things holding them up.
Yes.
I've seen girls in like grad school in like STEM, and literally if it wasn't because there's 2 women in the program instead of just 1, that's what's keeping them through school, because they have that other person. And especially now with business and a lot of the online business, I love that like you mentioned that BLOS also has people or the women that own businesses not in brick and mortars, right? Because I can imagine that can be very lonely.
Yeah, you feel kind of isolated.
And, when you don't have customers coming into your store that you can talk to, and the fact that they have this group of women to lean on and to share experiences with and at least get a little socializing in.
Yeah. And as we've been talking, like, it's not just about professional development or business all the time. It's about the people
personal
that are.
too.
And I think like, we can't treat ourselves as robots all the time. I have a tendency to be a little bit more like that, which is kind of how I am. Like I'm about results and like productivity and stuff. But it's like, if you don't pay attention to the person behind the work and you're not supporting that as well, then it's like what you were talking about earlier. You are just going to get burnt out. So it's like having those support systems in place. I think it really does actually forward your productivity in the end too. So why not lean into the nurturing just a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm very much the opposite. Like I'm like, how do I feel? And I'm like, like a feather, where am I going to land and all that. And when I get to the other side of things, like the productivity side, which is all the stuff that I had to do, in order to grow my business.
The grinding, the hustle.
Yeah, the grind, like understand math. Like, what the heck? That sucked.
Accounting, what?
But before I got to the point of being able to hire people to help me with the stuff that I didn't like. But I think it's important to have those people on your side. So when we do get together, you know, I have 100 employees, 5 locations, and I learn so much from the business owner over there who doesn't have any employees, who is literally behind her desk all day, grinding away. You know, I mean, we have a lot to offer each other.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not going to get into the whole topic of women versus men, but I know that we've had to work really, really hard. And I'm so fortunate that I got to watch my mom just break those glass ceilings and you know, like grow in that corporate world. And I'm just like so grateful that I got to see that. And I know what that looks like. And so I know that I could do it too. And I feel like I've done it. And so, you know, I can speak to that. And it's like, don't give up. I did it with a husband and kids and all the things, you know, all the things that are just like trying to pull you away from that one passion you have, you know, and then being surrounded by other people who it's like that whole imposter syndrome. Where was that term years and years ago? You know, now I'm like, oh yeah, here I am sitting in my imposter syndrome, but like lean
There's
into
a label for everything now.
Like I was just dealing with that yesterday. I'm like, do I even deserve this? What am I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, it's like, it happens to all of us and it's okay. You know, it's okay. And so when you have a support group like I do at Bloss, we just lift each other up. You know, we're just like, it's cool.
I think that's so wonderful.
We got you.
Yeah. So if any listeners out there who are women, you know, business owners want to join.
Oh, Bloss. I love this whole Bloss conversation. I did not see this coming. Yeah, do it.
But speaking of community, and especially community of women, we got to bring up the event that I don't know how you added this on top of everything else that you were already doing, but the Mrs. Roper Romp event.
Oh my goodness.
That happened the other month, right?
Where the kisses are.
That was amazing.
I just saw pictures. I saw the promotions. I didn't understand it, to be honest. I didn't know who the character was or anything.
Well, why would you?
Describe to us what it was and like how did you come up with the idea?
Oh my goodness. This is funny. Okay. All right, I gotta switch gears.
Now that we're all intimate about networking, let's hop back to the 70s and get on that train for a bit.
Okay, so I'll just tell you, like, it was like a Thursday or something, or not even that. I don't even know. So one of my friends called me and she's like, hey, there's a bunch of people that are getting together down in Edmonds and they're dressing up like Miss Roper and going on a pub crawl. Do you want to go? And I was like, all right. So I was like, okay, remind me who Miss Roper is. And then,
I'm glad like you had to have that reminder.
So Three's Company was a show that was back in it started in the late 70s. I think it was on air for like 6 to 8 years or something like that. I don't know. But Miss Roper, her character, she was the landlord's wife. So she was like an extra, right? She wasn't even the main character, but she was a landlord's wife. And she was all about like inclusion. And like you wouldn't know that back then. But you look back and it's like, wow, I'm surprised that they got away with her, her character back then. But anyway, she was all about inclusion. And she always had like a martini in her hand. And she always was trying to make love with her husband who didn't love her back. Like it was just this, and she had this zany personality and wore these really bright colored off the wall muumuus. So she was like comfort, you know, acceptance, love, joy, fun, all this. But all I really wanted to do was just go to a pub crawl in Edmonds on Friday night. So I went to that and had a blast. And so that was a Friday. On a Saturday night, I posted a TikTok of just the event. And I hadn't been on TikTok for like 6 months. So I'm not like a TikToker. But I post this thing, wake up the next morning, and it had gone viral.
Oh, wow.
And I know this because everyone's calling me and they're like, oh my God, Lori, my friend in Bend, Oregon just sent me this and it's you. And, I'm like, and they're like, you've gone viral. I'm like, what does that mean? What do I do with this information? So I was sitting down at Looking Glass Coffee. This was on that Monday. I was sitting down with my laptop working like all professional people do at Looking Glass Coffee on a Monday morning.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the window and my phone is literally blowing up. And it's like notification after notification. And in the comments of this TikTok, it's like, I want friends that do this. I want to do this. We should bring this to our community. Why can't people have more fun like this? And blah, 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 blah. And then there was one specific comment that said, this would be so perfect for the town I live in. It's called First Street. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but it's called First Street. I live in a town called Snohomish. This would be perfect for our First Street. And I'm like, no way, dude.
It's like,
I go to comment on it and I see a little video camera comment spot. So then I click the video camera and all of a sudden
You're just figuring it out as you go.
I'm just winging it, right?
I love it.
Kind of how I did business. But anyway, so I responded with this comment and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally sitting on First Street right now.
Looking glass.
And so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I mean, if all I do is say, hey, whoever wants to dress up as Miss Roper, come to meet me in Snohomish, we'll walk around and have some drinks, you know?
Yeah.
So I did. And since I was in Looking Glass, I went and talked to Tex, the owner, and I didn't know him. I didn't know anybody. And I went up and I was like, hey, this is going to sound really weird, but do you know who Miss Roper is? And he's like, oh my God, I really wanted to go to that. That was in Edmonds. I'm like, seriously, you know that?
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, my wife and I had our caftans all picked out, but they had to be at the shop, so they couldn't go. So we decided, I was like, well, I just posted on Instagram and TikTok that I'm actually putting this on here. Yeah. So I did. You guys, there was over 550 Helen Ropers in Snohomish. And
it was incredible.
It was amazing. It was so like, people ask me all the time, like, what did that do for you? What was the...
Like, why did you do it?
Why did you
spend
I did
time?
it because it was fun. I did it because I felt something for the people that wanted to have fun, wanted to have that connection for women who don't have... I mean, there's so many women our age that don't have friends.
Yeah. Because you get so isolated, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're just raising your kids, doing your business, going to work. And it's like, when do you have fun?
It's just like, and I've learned that where I thrive is community.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional. But
do
like
it, man.
To be able to
get emotional.
Yeah.
But like to be able to like have like that outlet, that was a true organic moment.
Yeah.
To be able to bring people together and people we had people come from Canada. We had people come from California. I've got selfies that people are like, will you take a selfie with me? My friend and I came here from California. This is so much fun. Like they came specifically for this Miss Roper romp.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm
it's
like,
amazing.
Yeah. It was
and
so
I
much
really
fun.
appreciated a lot about it, actually. So number one, you reached out to us, which I thought that's super cool because you wanted to be conscientious of other events going on, the downtown district, HDSA, but especially our merchants. And you said that so many times, like, I want to make sure that they feel involved and that this is a positive thing and that they're going to see a great effect from it. So that was amazing. Thank you. There wasn't like a fee to participate. You know, we didn't have to have special event permits and you didn't have to charge anything to the merchants to participate or for people to participate. It was just like show up and organic. And you actually, with this event, had a pretty significant economic impact on our shops.
That's what I hear.
And it's basically like
it makes me so happy.
They heard about it and they were like, oh, this is cool. I'll stay open and see, you know, what the result is. And I wasn't Helen. But I was
no, but you were.
I was there.
With all of
well,
them.
because I wanted to make sure, like, I just wanted to be there and see what is this thing going to turn into, which it blew my mind. But also, whenever there's any event, whether it's HDSA or someone else, I live right up the road, so it's easy for me to drop by and then just kind of keep tabs. Like, to be honest, that's what I'm doing. Positive or negative, I want to see like how is this affecting our district, and then get feedback from the shops that are open or participating. Everybody was so happy and like all the business owners were so excited and they were smiling. They were like, this is amazing. This has been so fun. So like they were seeing the monetary benefit, which is fantastic. Like you said, people coming in from all over the area, from Canada and stuff that wouldn't normally patron downtown Snohomish or maybe didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
Right. So it had a huge impact.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I think what I loved the most about doing that whole thing was that there was no pressure. It was just like, whatever
shows up, right?
Yeah. And it didn't cost anything but my time.
Yeah.
You know, to put it together, a lot of conversations, a lot of phone calls. When I realized such an opportunity it would be for the businesses down there, that was after I was like, oh my God, like this TikTok is just blowing up. And then the event that I put on Facebook was just like constant, like people saying they're going. I had, what was it, over like 1,400 people that were interested.
I remember you texted me, you're like, there's like,
I'm freaking
1,500 people interested. Should I be worried about this? And
like,
I'm like,
why do they put
fine.
interested? Like they're like interested. I'm like, no, I need to know, are you coming or not? Because this is weird. We were originally supposed to meet at the gazebo.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well.
That's not going to fit 1,400 people.
No. And I mean, my intention of reaching out to, going into all the businesses that I can and reaching out to them was just to make sure they're aware.
Right.
Yeah. But that is so important.
Oh my gosh. I was just so worried that it was just going to explode and they weren't going to be aware. And then I did reach out to some of them later and say, how was it for you? How did, there were some that would, even like the boutiques, that were really actively involved, stayed open late. People were saying they had their biggest sales.
Yeah.
Their biggest sales that day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, as a business owner myself, I didn't think about my business at all during any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I'm glad I didn't. I think if I had, I would have overthought it. I would have been like, okay, how can this benefit them? Okay, I want it to be good. It was really like, just be aware that this is happening. And then it turned into, a lot more. The thing I loved most about it though, and I just want to make sure I say this because I think that this is important, is that for one night, a whole bunch of people came together with all different backgrounds, all different thoughts, all different political beliefs, religious beliefs, all different. And it didn't matter.
Yeah.
None of that mattered. It was like, hi, Helen. Hi, Helen. Everyone is just Helen tonight. And we had a blast. We were dancing. We were singing.
Yeah.
Everywhere you went, there was Helen. Hi, Helen. I mean, it just felt like for, a few hours, just how this world should feel right now.
Right.
Totally.
Like you don't have to be anything. You don't have to make any statements. You don't have to have an opinion. You can just get absorbed into Helen and just do that.
And just be a kind person.
Yeah.
Like
be
it's
a Helen.
so simple. Be Helen.
Everybody
Don't
be a Helen.
Yes.
Be a Helen. Oh my gosh. We need to make shirts
Let's
that
put
say
that
that.
on a shirt and wear it.
Right? It's like, don't be a Karen. Be a Helen.
I love it.
Oh my God.
But if you are Karen, that's fine too. Just don't be a mean one.
So how big was the event in Edmonds, the one that you first participated in? Like how many people
I didn't
were
even
there?
really pay attention. I mean, I don't
but
actually
it wasn't
even
like
know.
the hundreds that like the people that were.
To be honest, I don't know because I didn't really.
Yeah. You were just
I
there
didn't even
having
think
fun,
to pay attention.
You weren't in
I
that
went to
mind
one
space
place.
yet.
I did reach out to the organizer of that one. I was like, hey, and just like, how do I people are asking me to do this. How do I do it? And she just kind of helped point me in the right direction. But it was very organic for her as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's so fun. I think my favorite moment that night, I ended up in Looking Glass at the same time that you were there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but like you were talking to me and I had been talking to Laura, who owns
And I
Looking
didn't even
Glass.
realize it was her.
Yeah. And you were like, hi, I'm Lori. And I was like, it's Laura. And she's like,
don't
it's
you know
me, Laura. You guys were like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, nice outfit. I got the same one on.
I know.
Helen,
It was
meet
amazing.
Helen.
Yeah. No, it was so fun. Thank you so much for putting that event on.
Oh, my pleasure.
I mean, and I love that you mentioned, I wasn't thinking about my business the entire time. And there's something to be said about that. There is like a camaraderie that can happen within communities that makes certain places special. And I think in Snohomish, we actually have quite a bit of that. I won't say that it's everybody. A majority of our businesses in our little downtown area, speaking for them specifically, they want to who was it that said this? Steve, who owns Victoria Village. He was like, if we don't have the antique shops and we don't have the boutiques and we don't have the bars and we don't have the coffee shops, like if it was all antique shops or it was all boutiques or it was all bars, it's like, you're not going to get the same experience.
Right.
And that's something to actually really be valued. And he's like, so I really appreciate that we have, like, whether we're running our businesses differently or we're drawing in different crowds, he's like, the group effort and everybody caring about Snohomish is what actually keeps Snohomish thriving. And as you were talking to before we started recording the podcast, like Snohomish has become this destination place in the last
couple of years.
several years.
Right. Yeah. I love it.
For everybody. Like at one point we were the antique capital of the Northwest.
Yeah.
That's a specific audience and that's great. And I appreciate that we still have part of that here. But I think it really goes to show how when you have different businesses coming in and everybody still wants to reinvest back into that experience that everyone is getting, that it's collaborative. Craig talked about this too in our last podcast. So. That really is what...
From the Oxford?
From Oxford.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
That's really what ups the value and makes it that place that people want to visit.
Right.
So you, like, not even having a business in downtown Snohomish, coming in and putting on an event that benefits every business but yours, honestly.
I know, they're wigs.
Right?
We don't do wigs.
Exactly. And it's like that, I think it just goes to show, like, it's going to come around and indirectly benefit you. I believe in that. But it's not like your business was going to directly benefit in any way from this event itself. So,
but I think it also goes to show that, like, there's fulfillment more than just the business side
Yeah.
or the monetary side, right? And I think sometimes people get too honed in, especially in times of pressure, where we're like, we need to make it. We need to, get above green numbers instead of red numbers. I am not an accountant by any means.
But I always look at the green and the red.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, I need a green, a red, and a yellow.
Yeah, it's like, keep it simple. But,
I won't correct you.
Some people can get too honed into like, oh, we need to make it this month, which I totally understand. But at the same time, there is something to be said of like the fulfillment that you can get in other ways, right? That by building the community, because even though times might be hard, but if you have that friend, if you have that Helen, it can still be fulfilling, maybe a different part. And like Megan said, I'm sure in a greater scheme of things, this will positively impact your business one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's not, directly today or this month or whatever. But yeah, it's just like such a great lesson in a lot of different aspects. So
we have to ask her. Yeah, we're just
oh my God.
Are you going to do it again?
Sure. Okay. You know what really worked out with this one was the Feather Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousin actually took over the Feather Ballroom for Lindsay and Leslie. And so she is now running that as an event space. And my brother, who used to do marketing and advertising for my company for years and years, he was the guy who did all of our marketing and advertising. He has kind of signed on to help Tara with that. And so I reached out to him like, hey, we got this tiny little gazebo and a whole bunch of Helens coming to Snohomish. I have no money to put into any of this, but this might be a great opportunity for you guys to get some, people to come in and check out the space. And so they opened their doors to us. And then I reached out to other vendors and found the 360 photo booth from Lux Photo Booth, had them come in. We had catering from Terra Home Catering. So we were able to kind of bring everybody together for this event in this one space where we had a meeting space. And so it only holds 300 people. And so I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I do think after talking to other organizers of this Helen Roper, which by the way is a nationwide thing, after talking to other people, I do believe that was the big point of difference, having a location where we could all meet.
Gotcha.
And then I had a videographer there and a photographer there taking drone photos of the town.
Oh, wow.
Which by the way, I'll get that for you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, really cool footage of all these redhead Helen Ropers walking down First Street. But having that space to be able to all come together and connect, and we made some announcements. Talked about the different businesses that were participating, and what to expect in that space. So if it's as easy next year as this year was, I'll do it again. I might need a little bit more help though, because
I don't think I've ever heard anybody who was a first time event planner say if it was as easy as it was this first time, it's always easier the next time. So next year will be a breeze.
I have all my wheels are turning on so many other things that we could do.
Yeah,
that's a trap.
That's where it gets to be like,
but
that's where I
keep
get tired.
It simple, right? Like just back to the tenets of like, hey, it's just a space for us to hang out. Like no pressure. I think that's the big part.
That's what people love about it.
Yeah, no pressure. You can just walk around dressed up. Like you don't even have to drink if you don't want to. You don't even have to buy anything if you don't want to. You don't have to spend money. You can just walk around in a moo-moo and be
have fun
and be comfortable.
Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah. The other thing that was really cool about it was we got approached by New Day Northwest.
Yeah, I watched that. It was so fun.
Yeah. That was amazing seeing that on TV.
And so I called Tex and I'm like, hey, you want to go down? And
like, I don't want to by myself.
Tex and his moo-moo, and that was worth
so
the watch.
So they reached out to you?
Yeah, they reached out to me, and Amity, who's the host. Thank you. I'm like, what's that word? It's got 4 letters, starts with an H. But the host, she reached out and wanted to interview me on this TikTok she saw. And so I was like, okay, I was so nervous, you guys. I was so nervous.
See, this podcast
you did
is
such a good job, though.
Oh my gosh, these giant cameras in your face and this beautiful woman right in front of you. And I'm just like, ugh. But it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And so, and then they reached out and she's like, hey, are there any of the restaurants or bars that you think might want to do a segment and show us some of their specialty cocktails? So that's when I reached out to Tex. I'm like, hey, this is kind of a cool thing. And, he was the first person I talked to. I was sitting in his shop the day that I decided to do it. I didn't know him from anybody else.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's just like hone in on one. I knew he was passionate about it because he wanted, they wanted to be there in Edmonds. And I'm like, hey, you want to do this with me? And we had a blast.
Yeah, it looks so fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think between them and me, we haven't talked about it, but I'm sure we'll collaborate together and do it again.
Well, they are putting together, Tex and Laura are managing Santa Palooza for Winterfest.
Stop it.
Which is basically a Santa version of Helen.
Oh my goodness. I am so in.
So you should reach out to Laura. we have it like there are tickets for that only because there's like special gift bags and like there is some extra incentives that people will get. But then Looking Glass is hosting. So essentially it starts at 6. You check in at Looking Glass, you get your wristband, and then you start bar crawling.
Right.
And then you can come back at 8:00 for the Santa Palooza Christmas costume party or costume contest.
So in.
But it's basically like hipster Santa, surfer Santa, sexy Santa, like however your interpretation of Santa is going to be, you dress up and come for this.
When Malicious Women Candle Company, when they had Andy from Seafood.
Oh, Fish House.
Yeah, I feel like my brain is malfunctioning right now. But when he dressed up as like a naughty Santa in there and had photos in there.
Know that
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was fun. But
yeah, I'm really interested to see how many sexy Santas we get.
It's gonna be cold. I think that's the thing.
I'm gonna be a nice, warm, cozy Santa.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel
cozy
like
Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. That's one of the benefits of dressing up as Santa Claus during Christmas. Is like you're literally head to toe. You're super warm. You got a hat. You got beard, everything's covered. And it's like, why would you want to be sexy Santa when it's like 20 degrees outside?
Well, I love that they're doing that. I love that Looking Glass is kind of pioneering that space for First Street. I think it's a lot of fun. And they have a cool, fun little coffee shop that you can just go in and hang out and stay open late, do some karaoke if you want. And they're just such fun people too.
Yeah, they're great people.
The other thing I just want to say really quick, this Miss Roper situation, what I thought ended up being really cool, and again, another organic situation, is being that we are antique, being that we have these little quirky shops like Worthy, for example. That's all our age. I'm 46 years old. That is, I walk in there and I'm just like nostalgia all over the place. I'm like, wow. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's caftans in here. I didn't even realize it. And so being able to talk about that and knowing that this age group of people are going to be coming into our town, go check this place out. Go look at it. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun too.
It was very fitting.
Yeah.
Such a great.
You've mentioned so many great things about Snohomish.
Yeah. I love Snohomish.
So we can ask you our closing question because you're all ready to go.
Okay.
What is your perfect day in downtown Snohomish?
I really tried not to overthink this because I knew this question was coming. So being that I live in town and I actually raised my family here, my perfect day in Snohomish changes often. Let's pretend it's summer.
Seasons always come into play with this question.
It is a big
every
factor.
Time.
Like, I feel like
we could do holidays.
Oh, you do whatever you want.
But like when we asked our guests in the summer, I feel like everyone's like, walk by the river. And I was like, now that we're like fall, winter, the answers are changing.
Yeah.
Well, I just really wanted to incorporate skydivers and hot air balloons in my answer.
Yeah.
And so I would get up in the morning, I'd make my coffee, I would go sit out on my backyard. I can like physically hear or see and hear the hot air balloons.
Yes.
I can hear that fire.
Yeah.
I can hear the people screaming when they're jumping out of airplanes. And I love doing that. And then I would definitely go to elmariehairstudio.com and make an appointment for my hair. Had to do that plug.
That's okay.
But get my hair done. And then I would probably get my girlfriends. And then I would I'd probably walk down to First Street, or maybe I'd get on my e-bike. Let's get on my e-bike.
Cool.
And I know what we could do. We can get on the e-bike and then we can go ride our bikes on the trail. But let's do that after we get coffee and walk around. Coffee at Looking Glass or Proper Joe's. I'd have to flip a coin on lunch at Andy's, or, oh my gosh, there's so many options.
Too many.
But I love sitting outside at Andy's. I love that. I love watching the people go by. I would definitely go shopping. I would definitely shop. I would start right there at Pedal and the Stem, and I would work my way all the way down and then all the way back up. And I'd probably get a road soda in the form of a chai tea.
Yeah.
So that was lunch. And then I'm going to maybe shop some more. And then I would probably go home, take a nap because I'm tired. And then
You're close by anyway, so why not?
But I do like a good late night in Snohomish.
Yeah.
I tend to be sometimes the oldest person in the bar, but I'm okay with that.
I saw you the weekend of Halloween we passed by each other, but I wasn't sure it was you because your hair was dark. You must have had.
Did I have a wig on?
You must have. Did you go
Did
to
I look like a almost like a spiritual goddess?
Yes,
like I was
you
about
did.
To cast a
You
spell on you?
did. Uh-huh.
Yes, that was me.
I think you were probably going to the event at the Feather Ballroom.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But you were walking by and I was like, I want to say hi, but I'm afraid it's not the right person.
Oh my gosh, that would have been
That's
awesome.
the worst with Halloween.
Oh, I wish you would
right?
have. But I do love I tend to go to the Rep a lot for dinner. My husband and I love to belly up to the bar and talk to our favorite servers. And then if we want to keep going, we'll cross the street and go over to the pie dive, maybe have some pie for dessert, have a cocktail there. And then if we're feeling crazy, we'll just keep going. And sometimes I end up seeing my kid at Who's. And I'm like, hey, this is just really weird. And I'm there for maybe 15 minutes and then I leave.
Yeah.
And go home and I love it by 10:30, 11.
There you go.
It's not great.
Sounds like a fun packed day in Snohomish.
That's a long answer, but yeah, it's a lot of things to do here in Snohomish.
There's so much to do. I mean, the answer could go on forever.
Everyone has had long answers just because there's so much to love.
Yeah.
There's so much to
We'll never
really
cut you off from telling us what you love about Snohomish.
Right. We love hearing it. So
we do.
Well, thank you for everything that you've done in the community.
Absolutely.
From the hairstylists that have gone through your programs, bettering the industry that way, to the events that you're hosting and just being, such an integral part of our community. And for joining us today and talking to us. It has been such a pleasure to learn from you.
Thank you, Lori.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I was like, what dude? This is...
See, it wasn't too bad, right?
Let's do it. This has been a blast. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to continue to talk about all this stuff with you guys and see where the podcast goes. And
Yeah.
I love listening.
We look forward to seeing you at Santa Palooza.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
In your cozy Mrs. Claus costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Snohomish Storytellers.
Keep writing those stories, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Snohomish Storytellers, brought to you by the Historic Downtown Snohomish Association, produced by Red Trucks.